What's up, Panthers Nation? Keep pounding! Let's go! We got that win today. Who's as jacked up as I am? Man, I'm excited. I'm hyped up after that win right there. After the problems that we've had for the first 2 weeks, how jacked up was everybody after we got that first touchdown? Dude, I about hit the roof. I about hit the roof. I was so jacked up. This team is back. This team has fire, it has passion, it is back. That's what I've been waiting for. This game right here, that's what I've been waiting for. Oh man. Can we just take a moment? Can we just take a moment and just give Kyle some love right now? Can we just give this man some love? Dude, Kyle Allen. What a monster today. I don't know how. I don't know how you could come off the bench, get 4 touchdowns, go wait, 18 for 20 something, and no interceptions. The dude just went off today. He went off. Man, props to you for coming in, doing what a backup quarterback does, stepping in, and taking care of business. Getting that W. I rate the quarterback position an A. I mean, that's just obvious. That's obvious. Christian McCaffrey, running back position, A. Right out of the gate. You don't even have to debate that one. Tight ends, A. Greg Olsen was all over the field today. Need I say more? Wide receivers, A minus. There's some catches we'd like to have back, but, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. These guys know who they are. That took care of business today. Curtis Samuel, Jarius Wright. DJ Moore finally came out and did not have bricks for hands today. Shout out to you. And that touchdown catch, man. Wow. What a day. What a day. After all the frustrations, this offense finally got it together and got it done. 38 points. We put up 38 points, y'all. So, here's my question. And I know it's the question y'all are expecting. I'm going to go ahead and ask it right now. Is our success from putting in Kyle Allen or is it based on the fact that Norv Turner's playbook is actually decent and we were wrong? All I needed was the correct quarterback to start executing it. And Kyle Allen was that quarterback. Could I have been wrong? Now, y'all remember, I've said this in previous videos. When I'm wrong, it greatly, greatly benefits the team. When I'm wrong in my predictions. Could I have been wrong? Man, if I am, feel free to let me know. Because when I'm wrong about something like this, we put W's on the board. Plain and simple, we put W's on the board. In the record column. So, let's talk about that offensive line. I want to talk specifically about Greg Little and Darrell Williams' situation before we get into the overall grade of the offensive line. Now, it had Greg Little and Darrell Williams rotating, and I'm going to tell you all this. You're not going to like this, but I was correct. When Greg Little was in, we had very little to no pressure on the left side. When Darrell was in, guess what happens? Sack. Quarterback pressure, sack. You think I'm joking? Go look at the tape. And I mean, Kyle Allen, give this man some credit, man. Give this man some love. Even with the pressure in his face. Even with these guys hitting his blind side, man, behind him. He's still able to deliver these passes. The dude looked like a magician out there at quarterback. We haven't had that in how long? Y'all count the last time that a Carolina quarterback looked that good besides Cam Newton in his prime before he got hurt. Y'all have to fill me in because it's been a while. And you know why that was? No pressure. He was smart. He knew where to throw the ball. He knew where these wide receivers were supposed to be. He knows the playbook. He knows the system. He knows what he's supposed to do when he gets pressured from the left side. And when Darrell Williams, who is not supposed to be there, who has no business being a left tackle, when he's not a left tackle, he's a right guard. When we already have a left tackle that we are rotating in and out, Greg Little. You know, that's the type of things that win and lose games right there. We now know our patterns. We now know what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do, what we need to fix, what we don't need to fix, what's working, what's not working. Week 3, we got it down pat now. We got it on camera. 3 weeks worth. We know what we're looking at. And I'm just going to go through this list, man. I'm going to go through all these positions. I'm going to tell you exactly what we have, what we don't have, what we need to work on, what we don't need to work on. And I'm going to put out a schedule prediction video later on in the week, letting y'all know the week 3 schedule predictions moving forward. That is scheduled on my calendar to put out. And as many of y'all know, or maybe don't know, I put out several schedule prediction videos throughout the year. You're looking at before training camp, when the regular schedule comes out, during the middle of training camp, during the middle of preseason, end of preseason, week 3, week 8, week 12, and week 15 are when those are going to go out, schedule-wise. And then the last one is going to be playoffs, which is a bonus if we make the playoffs. Now, that's not a given. But back to the grading system, back to what we're looking at. Offensive line, I give him a B+, with the exception of Darrell Williams, who has no business being there, and I give him a break for that now, because that's a coaching decision, not his decision, a coaching decision to move him over there. So I give the offensive line a break for that. And you know what? They earned it today. Even though that man was pressured back there, they still looked okay. Yeah, there's still a lot of room to improve, but they still looked really good. I'm going to pick apart the pluses and minuses of this team, even though we got this win. So, let's talk about that D line. That D line got very, very little push on the Cardinals. Very, very little. And I'm not thrilled with the D line. We're still very, very weak to the draw plays up the middle. Dontari Poe is typically a ghost when it comes to draw plays. Um, you know, we'll a few of the other players on the D line get tackles. Occasionally, KK Short. Dontari Poe gets like two to three tackles a game, realistically, and that's it. So far, it's been 1 to 2 this year. So you gotta wonder what's going on with Dontari Poe, whether he's worth that money or not. At this point, I question it. Nobody else is questioning this, but I am starting to after watching him. Maybe this will motivate him. Maybe he's watching. Maybe this will motivate him and fire him up. But you know, you go and look at the stat sheet. Tell me I'm wrong about that. There's a bunch of assisted tackles. There's a bunch of tackles from everybody else. But where's Poe? And I'll have to go back and look at all those numbers again just to make sure that I'm correct about that. But I just want to point him out. I want to point him out, and I want to point out KK because when those two are doing their job properly and stopping those ISOs and stopping those draw plays, you limit these rushing attacks to 3 yards average. That's what you want. 3 yards or under is what you want. That's the target. So, and the D-line is not doing that today. I saw several rushes that went for 5 yards, several rushes that went for way more than that, and I was not pleased with that, especially in the first quarter. Definitely not pleased with that. The whole defense looked god trash awful in the first quarter. And they looked like dumpster fire in the first quarter. But they got it back together, thankfully. And, there's a lot of work to be done with this team. A lot of things that we need to work on. A lot of things we don't need to work on that are working fine. And we'll get to those. But you're looking at pass rushes next after the D-line. But the D-line gets a C grade because of the fact that we were weak to the draw in the ISO and had trouble containing on the outsides on the sweep plays. So, that is your weakness. That's your main weakness is the defensive line right now. I feel like if we can contain some of these runs, we can make them one-dimensional. Some of these teams one-dimensional. Now, some of these quarterbacks can still hurt you through the air. Watson's one of them that's coming up against when we play the Texans. He is definitely one of them. He can hurt you on both the air and the ground. So, don't think just because he's been injured doesn't mean he can't run. You got to watch for him. You cannot let him out of that pocket. You got to contain. So that's what's going to come up next. And I just wonder if this D-line is up to the task. Because Watson is incredibly dangerous. Even if you bottle him up and keep him in the pocket, his arm is ridiculous. You watch some of those passes he completed today even. It blew my mind against the Chargers. And I caught the last 5 minutes of that game and I was like, okay, let's scout this team. Let's see what we're dealing with next week. And Watson was just being Watson. I mean, let's be fair here. This is what we're going to be dealing with next week, folks. I should know. I'm a Clemson fan. I should know what we're dealing with. I know what this guy is capable of. We're in trouble. If we don't fix this secondary, if we don't start containing Watson, this dude is going to eat. And I'm not joking. This dude is going to eat some yards on us. So we have to be really, really aware of everything he's doing and everything that especially DeAndre Hopkins is doing. I mean, those two together, what a duo. What a duo. That's really hard to defend. It's like Matt Ryan and Julio Jones put together. It's like that 1-2 combo punch, man. You know, we have that with our quarterbacks and Greg Olsen. So, it's every team's got that. You just have to be aware of what they're doing at all times. And, we could throw some linebackers at them. We could throw some corners at them. We could throw some safeties at them. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if you let that quarterback out of that pocket and let him scramble, you're in for hurt. So that's why I'm a little concerned about that defensive line right now and where that's at right now. Going forward, that could definitely hurt us in the next 3 games. So you got the pass rush. I'd say we did a pretty good job of getting to their quarterback and pressuring him, making him throw some bad passes. So I give him a B. They look good today. Mario got at least 2 sacks. Brian Burns got 2 sacks and a few tackles for a loss. The dude was all over the place. Spider Burns, man. Spider Burns. We get the spider. Get the spider going on in the comment section, man. First round draft pick, man. Whew. Beastin' and feasting. So we got the linebackers. Luke Kuechly destroying, as always, doing Luke Kuechly things. I mean, what more do you want? What more do you want from Luke Kuechly? What more do you want? When the rest of the defense is pure trash. And not necessarily they were today, but, they handled their own, but even when the entire defense is trash, Luke Kuechly is still just like, man, I'm still in this. I'm still here. I've still got a uniform on. Bring it. And that's the type of spirit we need in Carolina, man. From all our players. That's the type of passion we need from everybody. I want everybody to study those playbooks, man. Learn some stuff, man. Don't just look at film and just go, oh, that looks weak. That looks weak. Oh, okay. See you later, Nick. And let's suit up next week. Nah. Put some commitment into it, man. Put some commitment into it. I saw so many wide open receivers. It was ridiculous. It looked like a Disney skating ring out there. And that's from linebackers. That's from corners. That's from free safety Trey Boston out there too. Wide open receivers. We have got to figure this out. Because if we let that number of wide receivers be open, Watson will find every one of them. I guarantee you, he will shred this defense like sliced cheese. Y'all think I'm kidding? I've watched Watson for a number of years. I know. This secondary will not survive Watson if we do not figure out a way to cover these wide receivers and do it properly. We're running a 3-4 for goodness sakes. You think we'd be able to figure that out? Ron's running the team, man. Ron's running the defense. So run it. You know, and the corner's gonna be Dante saves this grade. Dante saved the grade. Let's be fair here. Bradbury took a couple of plays off, but he generally did really well. Uh, Dante looked like Jekyll and Hyde as always. You know, doing Action Jackson things, but also Dante the lazy man thing too. So, you know, I love the two interceptions. I loved them. I loved them. I want more of them. I love the big hit, but don't go out of your way to get a big hit when you could just wrap these guys up and stop the play from happening. You cost us a touchdown by wanting to get that big hit again after the first one. He's just like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm hungry for a big tackle. I love the passion, but there's a time and a place for it, man. There's a time and a place for it. When you know the play is going to be like a wideout pass, and you know exactly which wideout it's going to, and you know it's the guy you're guarding, if you're Dante, go on. Go hit him. You know, you got safety help. You got linebacker help. Go for it. When you know you got the help and you're in midfield or somewhere like that, go for it. But not in the red zone, man. Come on. Use your head, Dante. I love you, man, but use your head. You're a good guy. Just, you got to stop taking so many plays off. You got to focus on what you're doing. You know? I know you got it in you. I love that passion, though. I want to see everybody on the defense have that passion. That's the spark we need to start really, really playing well and balanced football on this team. Trey Boston, C. Man, y'all already know how I feel about Trey Boston. I don't even need to say anything more. Lazy tackling, lazy coverage, 75% of the game. He made tackles when it mattered, but in the rest of the game, it was just like, where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be over here? Oh, I'm supposed to tackle this guy. That's not how you do it, Trey. Come on, man. Come on, dog. We don't pay you that much money to go out there and just suit up in uniform and look like a clown. Alright? We already had Captain Mutterwood for that. But he did make plays when it mattered. So I do give him that much credit. And then you got Eric Reed in the backfield. Did really, really well. There are a few missed tackles that I would have liked to see him get. But, you know, overall B. Yeah, I'm happy with Eric Reed. He looked good. He didn't have his best day today, you know, and that's okay. You know, even if he doesn't have his best day, he still plays excellently well. And gets it done for us when it matters most. Special teams A, you know, Ray McLeod, man. Can I just toot my Clemson horn for Ray McLeod right now? Can I just do that right now? Ray, what a return, dude. That is such a shame that got turned back, man. That is such a shame that was at the spot of the foul. But man, you deserved those yards on your stat total. I mean, that is why you signed a Clemson player right there. Everybody wanted an example of why we should sign a Clemson player and why I've been pushing for it. for the past 5 years. That's why. That man put in all the effort, 110% effort. That's what I'm looking for, man. That's what I'm looking for out of every player on this team, though, when they step out on that field. And to have him on the active 53 just makes me overjoyed because you know exactly what to expect from him every game. And, you give him a break for the Bucks game, man. It was slippery. He does drop balls in the rain. It happens. Happens to everybody. Cut him a break. You know? He didn't have bricks for hands like DJ did for the first 2 games. Cut him a break. I am. So, play calling. Let's have a field day with the play calling because this was interesting. The play calling wasn't that much different from the first 2 games. Let's be honest here. We did have a few more medium passes that Kyle completed, that Cam would not have, being that you can't try to get some of those throws off with a foot that's not fully healed. Now, the question is it fully healed or is it not even hurt at all? I'll leave that for you to debate. I'm not even going to get involved in that one. I'm just going to wait for the facts to come out. Whatever they are, I'm going to wait for these coaches to stop lying to us and tell us the truth about Cam. And then I'm going to decide, is this play calling adequate for our backup quarterbacks? Because it's obviously not adequate for Cam. Obviously. Not in his current state. That's why we arrested him. That's why he's not on the field. So let's call it what it is. He's not on the field. So obviously, the past 2 weeks he hasn't been able to adapt to that play style. Maybe the backups can. We'll see. So the question I ask everybody is Norv Turner's offense, play calling wise, adequate? I'll leave that up to you to debate. Coaching, B-. I was happy with that, except for the fact that Ron is the one that keeps switching Darrell Williams and all these right guards and right tackles over to left tackle. I figured it out because we've been through 3 different offensive coordinators over the past 5 years, and we've had 5 different left tackles that were right tackles or right guards that are now gone. So I'll let you debate that one. We know it's Ron. So that's coaching, and that's why I give him the B-. Otherwise, he did great today. We got the win. We're finally on the winning board. The rest of the division failed. Falcons lost. Bucks lost. We're back in it, folks. The only thing we got to worry about is the Saints. And I warned people about Teddy Bridgewater. I warned them. I warned everybody here too. And on this channel, if everybody's been watching my prior videos about quarterbacks that we should go after, before the season started, Teddy Bridgewater was the top of my list. I warned people that this dude is dangerous. And he just proved it today. It is the day of backup quarterbacks. I will say that. It is the day of backup quarterbacks. But the things he was able to do with that offense did not surprise me one bit. it probably surprised a good, what, 1,000 people out there, but it didn't surprise me. I already knew what he was capable of, even after he got injured and he's back. You know, he may not be as fast as nimble as he was, but the dude could still run. He's still got agility. He's still got abilities. He's still got arm strength. He's still got accuracy. Those are all weapons of a very dangerous backup quarterback. So, you put those weapons together, and you got a very, very potent offense with the weapons that the Saints have. But as far as looking forward through week 8, we'll do that schedule video very, very soon. Schedule prediction video. And we'll assess where we are, what our strengths and weaknesses are, how that's going to play into our predictions, and where do we go from here? What we now have a very, very positive outlook on what we're dealing with. We know where we are, and that's very, very good news. I want to report that right now. We know where we're at. We've seen the patterns. We've seen the good patterns. We've seen the bad patterns. We've seen the future of where those patterns might lead if we fix them versus how if we don't fix them. So that's very, very good news. Now, it's up to the coaching staff. And these guys are still on the hot seat. I want to remind people, they're still on the hot seat. With me and with possibly Tepper as well. So we'll see how this season plays out. This win probably calmed a lot of people down. And I'm very happy about that. Because last week we were talking about fire this guy, fire that guy. Do this, do that, And now we're going, okay, different story narrative. What happens if we do this? What happens if we do that? We're the button pushers at the machine shop, What if we do this? What if we do that? What do we come out with? And that is the magical question. What do we come out with next week? Do we come out with a positive team? Do we come out with a negative team? What do we come out with? The Texans are still going to bring everything in the kitchen sink. I've seen some weaknesses, though. But that secondary is very, very good. We're going to have to really, really push with our wide receivers to make things happen. Even with Kyle Allen in. So it's going to be tough. Even Phillip Rivers had trouble with that secondary. So, that says a lot.